Hello everyone, GL1 here, and today I'm going to go through some John Hammond collection of dinosaur toys. So this is John Hammond. You might remember him from Jurassic Park, the first movie from 1993, and he also made appearances in some of the other movies. This John Hammond is on the 6-inch scale, and it is not to scale with these other dinosaurs over here. But if you look at it, you can see in his cane, he has the amber on top, and there's a little hint of it's a mosquito. And with the magnifying glass, you can see that it is a mosquito. So that's our big John Hammond action figure. And but more to scale is this John Hammond here, which also has the cane with the amber and the mosquito in there. So this is more the scale John Hammond would be to these dinosaurs. So this is Triceratops, as you probably know. And over here, this is the basic Hasbro Jurassic Park toy. And let's see, he has a button here and raises his head, and he would make a noise, but I removed the batteries because it's annoying to constantly hear him, whining every time you hit the button. Now his legs have some articulation. They actually have some lateral movement in their hips and in his shoulders, quite a bit there. But it's pretty basic, and so the John Hammond collection is much more articulated. So here we go. This is John Hammond Triceratops, and I have some details here. Triceratops could be 30 feet long, 20 to 28,000 pounds. Now, a large African elephant is 15,000 pounds, so to give you an idea. And they went out with the Cretaceous extinction event that occurred 66 million years ago. And the thing you'll notice here is he has greater articulation. So he has elbows and, he has ankles, and they can move around. You can see even there's a joint here. And the evidence they have for the dinosaur extinction is, well, there's quite a bit, actually. And one of the things that they've found is that there is a layer of iridium all over the world at the 66 million year level of soil. And iridium is not common on Earth, but it is common in meteors. So that's one piece of evidence. They also have evidence of large meteor impact in what is near Cuba. And so that's one possible site that they think. And I can tell you this, when I was studying my undergraduate, I compiled a bunch of data. One of them is Milankovitch cycles, which is the wobble of the Earth, which can change the orientation of the Earth to the sun, ice ages, volcanic activity, and other extinction events that occurred, and also sea level changes. So there were 5 mass extinctions that we know of, and maybe a few more depending on how you categorize things. But the 4 of those extinctions correlated to sea level changes, volcanic activity, the wobble of the Earth, magnetic field changes that they can see in rocks. And if I didn't say volcanic activity, all the other extinctions had those. The dinosaur extinction did not, but it did have the iridium layer. And that, I did a graph in college correlating all those together and found that the only mass extinction that had the iridium layer and none of the other correlations was the dinosaur extinction. So I concluded that it had to be a meteor, and this was over 30 years ago, I made that conclusion, and that was not something people were saying definitively at the time, but I maintained it was true, and now they all believe that. So there you go on that. All right, so the John Hammond T-Rex. So you might have seen this in another show. I've done other shows that involve this. The John Hammond T-Rex is really awesome. You have your articulation in the middle of the body. You have your wrists, elbows. You have a tongue. The mouth opens up at different levels and can close. But you have a tongue that also has a joint. So it can be out like that, and then you can push it down, and it'll stay. It's rubbery. And then you have the double knee joint, and you have hip articulation, swivel of the foot, and the foot even moves, and you have ankle, knee, and you have tail that moves in all directions, and it's even rubberized on the end, and you can bend that and keep that in various positions. So just an awesome figure, and it even has glass-like eyes with a pupil that will follow you as you move it. So that's really neat. Now, to compare that with what I think is the best non-Hammond collection T-Rex is this guy here. And, you can see it only has some articulation in the hips. And he has a little bit of shoulder articulation here. And you can move the tail. See that? You move the tail and you can move the head around. And you do have a little bit of swivel in the feet, but that's not what's cool about him. Push this button down. And he shakes his head when he roars. And the tongue wiggles too. And you can actually put that up, you can put that down. So that is like the Hammond collection there, but you don't have those glass-like eyes. But just, I think this is the coolest T-Rex that is not of the Hammond collection. All right, so a couple new things from the Hammond collection. We have Geosternbergia, which is a pterodon, and I'm going to open that up. All right, so this is one of the larger pterodons. It had a 24-foot wingspan, which is, 4 times. I mean, that's as tall as more than 4 people lined up. More like 5, really. So that wingspan is humongous. And let's see what makes this Hammond collection. So, all right, so you have a mouth that opens. You have a lot of neck articulation. You have rubbery, leathery kind of wings. Ooh, you even have little wrist articulation. All right, so that's definitely something new. And the feet, let's see, or the legs. So you have ankles, knees, hips that move in all directions. All right, so, the Hammond collection, they don't make noise or anything like that. They're just meant to be much more realistic, finer, detailed versions of the more, kid-friendly versions. All right, but this is nice. And what I have that's like this is not a Jurassic Park toy, but I got this in a thrift store several years ago, and it's the closest thing I have to Geosternbergia. Now, obviously, the mouth is very different, but I think some of the frills are similar. I don't know if you could see the wings are very similar and the tail. It's also possible that this was meant to be this dinosaur, but the people that made the toy took some artistic license and added, maybe some teeth to it and just to make it look more scary. It has a button here, you can push it and it kind of closes its mouth. Other than that, I don't know what this is supposed to be. I haven't been able to nail it down for sure. All right, so that's Geosternbergia, and something really cool. We have Ankylosaurus, and we have the basic Ankylosaurus, the one that you get, at Walmart or Target. And you can push the button here, and the battery's dead, but he would, all right, it's practically dead. He would roar. And these batteries do not last long in these toys, even when they're just sitting, in a box. But his head moves all around, and, he can swing his tail. And he's got leg articulation in the shoulders and hips. All right, so let's see how that differs on our Ankylosaurus. Now, the batteries that these take are button cells, which are little metal discs. They don't go bad in terms of leaking and ruining your toy easily. It takes usually several years. I've had some that are 30 years old and still never leaked. And in fact, they even kept working. All right, so, well, we can see right away that the Hammond collection is larger. So he's definitely bigger, and you have to actually attach the tail. So this is, that nice, efficient way of keeping them in. It's easier to get them out. All right, so we're going to add the tail on. And just one of those bands in there. All right, got that out. And then you can see that just snaps in. All right, and that's in there. Oh, that's a very big and realistic looking club. All right, let's compare that. Yeah, it's not bad, actually. The basic one's pretty close. But we do have much greater articulation in the tail. Now this one, you can turn it a little bit like that, right? But this one, you can really move it and get some realistic motion there. And Ankylosaurus was up to 18,000 pounds. So that's about 3,000 pounds more than a large African elephant. Very dense. He went out with the extinction event as well. So did, actually, well, the Geosternbergia actually went out 88 million years ago, 80 to 88. He was around, it went out at 80 million years ago, so before the extinction event. But the T-Rex, the Triceratops, the Ankylosaur, they all went out right at the extinction event. So you can see the head turns up, and even the mouth opens, right? Let's see, is that going to open? It looks like it does. There we go, up there. All right, he's smiling at you. All right, very cute. I don't have all the Hammond collection because sometimes they're just more obscure dinosaurs that are in the collection, and I already have them as the basic ones. I'm not really interested that much in getting them again. This has, all the same articulation that you see in the Hammond collection ones as far as, the knees and the ankles and the hips. But these were half price. So I got this for under $10, and I got the Pterodon as well for under $10. So for that, although this is definitely worth it. I mean, this is a nice, really nice figure. It's kind of rubbery spikes, at least on the sides, hard plastic here. And you can really get some great articulation. One of the questions I saw online was, can Ankylosaurus kill a T-Rex? And they said, well, probably not directly, but this club could very possibly break its ankle, and that probably would be fatal for a T-Rex, because then it couldn't hunt, and it would be able to be victim to another T-Rex. All right, so thank you for watching the Hammond collection. I hope you enjoyed that. Enjoyed showing it to you, of course, and it's going to be nice to add these up on my shelf. So take care, and I'll see you soon.